Good evening, everyone. What is going on?
Hello, hello. Welcome back to DCI Unleashed.
Sorry we didn't get on sooner. Someone had to get his hair beautiful, so.
I didn't do a very good job.
Mm.
So tonight we just got a few things to go over. So the show may not
Good
be too
evening,
long,
everyone.
but
What
we'll
is
see how
going
it
on?
goes and what we get into here. I don't know who's on right now.
We got 6 people on with us right now, and
Thank you.
DJ I
Welcome
know is
back.
one of them. So
Okay. So one of the
you
things
didn't say hi.
One of the things we're going to speak about tonight is going to be connecting rods and how to identify an A-beam or an I-beam and an H-beam connecting rod. So I'm sure you guys have seen whenever you're looking through a Summit catalog or looking online at connecting rods, there's an I keep saying A-beam because there is an A-beam, but I-beam or H-beam. So how they determine that is you hold the connecting rod like this, okay? And if you look at this connecting rod, this looks like an eye because it has 2 flats, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then the center's hollowed out. So this is an I-beam. This connecting rod is an H-beam because it's got the center hollowed out here and here, but it's got the flats on the side. So it looks like an H. So that's one thing I wanted to go over with you guys tonight. They do make an A-beam, and an A-beam connecting rod is basically like an I-beam connecting rod, except for it has a little bit more webbing in here. It's used for superchargers or turbocharged application or nitrous application, and it gives a little bit more strength around the connecting rod bearing down here by the crank. But it's got an actual, it looks like an A pattern in here because it's hollowed out up here, but it has a little bit of more support here, and then it comes up and has a kind of an A shape. So that, but yeah, I don't have an A-beam rod to show you, but that's what one of the things I wanted to go over tonight. I don't know what my son's got for you tonight. We need to possibly pull up a video or something. I don't know what he's got going on, but I got some formulas I want to show you guys later.
Really, I'm just here for the party.
Son,
you know, it's relaxed podcast.
These guys don't want to sit around and watch us drink beer.
You'd be surprised, all right?
I'm pretty sure.
But we did. I do want to bring up a big news. We did hit 1,000 subscribers on our main channel, so thank you for everyone who subscribed to this one and that one. That's huge. We are very close to being where we want to be with that channel. So, well, not where we want to be, but on the first step of where we want to be.
We're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So one of the hurdles is to get 1,000 plus subscribers, which we did. So now the next hurdle is we have to have 4,000 view hours, and currently we're just under 2,000. So we got double that.
Yep. But it has been going up, so that's good.
It is.
We're trying to come up with better content. I mean, we know that, our educational stuff is not as big as someone strapping a jet motor to their car and taking it down the 224, which is a local interstate to us. But, we'll get to that. We got baby steps. We got to take baby steps.
I'm all about the education part of it. That's what I did whenever I did my seminars at the shop on Keegan Road. I'm not a big goof off kind of guy. It's just not my nature. I don't know how to goof off unless I'm, I don't know, interacting with somebody else goofing off. We've had a lot of funny stuff happen at the shop. I mean, but it was all by accident. It wasn't planned. We didn't have to rehearse it.
But no, I'm here. My dad wants to talk about some things, which is fine. But that's just the conversation starters here. I'm really interested in what you guys want to know. Comment. I've seen we have Dave Walbert. He says, "Hey,"
David.
And he's checking in. So thank you, Dave. And DJ wants to know compression ratios and type of fuel needed for the compression ratios, and I mean that can go. I mean that's a good stretch of that's a very broad question.
Yeah, that's pretty broad. That we probably can't cover in an hour or even a couple hours, but yeah, that's so. If you guys are interested in that, I will talk about that, and I'll get the data and I'll do it properly. I mean, spouting off the top of my head, there's so many different kinds of fuels now. I mean, it used to be that you had 110 and you had 108 or whatever, but now they got C16 and C26 and C23 and CCC. I mean, there's tons of different fuels and molecular.
Well, and that's all on the fuel provider.
Right, and then you have methanol, and then you have E85, and there's just so many different fuels out
Because
there.
you can go down to the gas station in Barbara and get CAM2 still.
I don't know if you can still do that or not.
Well, it says CAM2 on the pump. I don't know if it truly is CAM2.
But CAM2 is 110 octane, so and you can run 12, 13 point compression on 110 octane. But there's so many different kinds of fuels out there right now, and maybe I can talk with BP and tell them we're doing this podcast, and that's a good one, DJ. So what we'll do is we'll get on there with, maybe I can get some data and literature from BP, and we can go over all the different fuels they offer.
Maybe we can have you reached out, and you can get a sales representative or someone from VP.
Maybe they can stop by and
stop by or join us.
That would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be cool. So if we could do that, that would be really good.
Hopefully they can give us some swag to give away.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe some hats and t-shirts or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll try something like that. But yeah, I'm just here to hopefully people start chiming in, and we get conversation going. My dad has some stuff he wants to show. We're probably going to cut to that right now to get that going. And then, as questions come in, I'm going to start asking.
So what was supposed to happen this week, and I'm going to beat up on my son a little bit.
Whatever.
He was supposed to go to Grandpa's house and videotape Grandpa's car for me so we could do explain his build to everybody, because it's a cool car. It's my dad's car. He's 84 years old. He drives this thing to Norwalk every year for the Pontiac Nationals, which is about an hour and a half ride for him. He physically drives the car there, and he physically races the car. It's a 69 Grand Prix. Some of you guys know about it, and it's heavy. It's a 4,200-pound car. Got a 455 in it on pump gas. That car runs the way he drives it to the track with Grandpa driving it, and basically he just puts it in drive and lets it go. He can go. He's been as quick as 1177, I think. And my brother's been quicker than that. I think my brother's been high 1160s with the car. So I want to share that combination. And it's a cast iron head engine. It's not an aluminum head deal. It's not a roller cam. It's a flat tapped camshaft in that thing. It's all in the cylinder head. It's all about the cylinder head.
So what I'm trying to convince the old man to do is let's get that car on the dyno. Let's put it on the dyno. That dyno can do a quarter mile simulation. It can tell us horsepower. We can, get on it and get some video of it on the dyno. And another thing we're going to do is we're going to do a couple series of a couple different cars on the dyno coming up in our main channel.
So what we're going to do, I was just discussing this with my son yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with like a 13-second combo. Well, maybe not start with that, but we're going to do a 13-second combo. We're going to do a 12-second combo, 11, 10, 9, and even down to an 8-second combinations for the guys that want to run 8s. And then hopefully what we can do is we can get the cars that do those numbers that I built, that I know do that number, and we'll get it on the chassis dyno. That way we can show you guys the actual real world rear wheel horsepower on that engine or chassis, and then that way we know what kind of horsepower it takes to run that number.
Yep.
It's no inflated bullshit number that you see that all these guys are trying to sell you cylinder heads and engines give you. Those numbers are all false.
And then also with that video, with those videos, I should say, it's going to be however long we can get all the information into that video about that car setup. I would say I want to go through motor, obviously, but transmission, you know,
Yeah, we can give them the
turbo
whole
350
combo.
or a
Yeah.
turbo 400.
Tell them
But
what stall conversion,
yep.
what rear end gears in the car, what
And
the
then
car
we're
weighs.
going to have top end packages for sale
Yes.
for those motors, so that way you guys can comfortably and know for a fact that you buy this combo, you will run close to what this car will run. Not every car's the same.
Now it's critical that you guys know that it is a complete package. So it's from carburetor to header. It's not just a camshaft or just a cylinder head or just a carb or just an intake. It's not that. It has to be the whole top end package to run the number.
Yep. So DJ said, "Yeah, let's do that." He is more than happy to clean for that. And
love you, DJ.
And Dave wants to know what gear is in Grandpa's car.
370.
370 or 373?
No, 370. It's 4.9 inch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's got a 4.9 inch in it with a 370 gear. And I think the tire on that is a 275/60, so it's like 28 inches tall. It's 28 or 29. I don't remember what they call it.
Well, it's 20.
It does have a DOT slick on it. It's a Mickey Thompson DOT slick.
They consider it 28
well,
inches.
It's a DOT drag radial, not a slick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that car's it's set up to drive. I mean, I did a video. It's on our YouTube channel of us cruising out to Norwalk this year, and I think it was tacking right around 3,500 RPM all the way there. And it is a 455 block. It's got 3 1/4 inch main in it, and everybody freaks out about that. But car ran cool. I think the hottest it got was 168 degrees. So it ran good, and it was hot that day too.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, let's get into these calculators you want to do.
Well, I got a couple formulas I want to share with you guys because some of you guys don't really understand, or don't, I shouldn't say understand, you don't know what the true potential of your car is. So, if you're going to go the 1/4 mile, I don't know, hopefully you can see that. Can you see that on there?
Let's do it on this camera.
All right.
That way you can see it better.
Can you see that?
Yep.
How's that look?
Yep.
All right, guys. So, this first calculator I'm going to share with you is this gives you what your true potential of your car should run. All right, so you take a 1/4 mile, which is 1,320 feet, and you divide that by your mile per hour. That should equal your potential ET. All right, so potential doesn't mean it's going to run that. That's what you're shooting for. So this, for a stock chassis though, you need to add about 0.25 tenths because the reaction of the chassis moves real slow and everything is kind of lazy and it doesn't react like a chassis car or a car with a 4-link or a ladder bar suspension on it, or a tuned suspension. You can tune the factory suspension to work well too. So for a lazy suspension, you want to add 0.25 seconds.
How much would you want to add if you had like a, let's say you have a 4-link, like a Ride Tech 4-link in it with a coilover?
Well, if you've got a tuned suspension, then your ET should match pretty close to what your mile an hour tells you it should.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to do like 0.05 or 0.1?
No, it should be pretty much dead nuts on. I mean, with our car it was.
All right.
You know, so with our chassis car, it was dead nuts on. So we're going to use in this example 1,320 feet divided by 105 mile per hour, which equals a 1257, plus the 0.25 because of the stock chassis. Or if it's not a stock chassis, if it's a 4-link car or a ladder bar car, it should run 1257. Or if you have the suspension tuned, if you got a good upper and lower control arm with a good shock on the car, and you got a good front shock on the car, and the suspension's working like it's supposed to, and you're not wasting a lot of energy, then the car will run a 1257. And but if not, if it's got rubber bushings in it, got factory control arms on the back, and no airbag or no shock tuning or anything, then you can add 0.25 to it, and it's going to be a 1282. All right. So that formula is almost dead nuts on. So if you take your 1320, which is the length of the 1/4 mile, you divide it by the mile per hour, it's going to give you the ET the car should run. So now, what that tells me is if your car's running 105 mile an hour and it only runs we'll go with the good tuned suspension. If it runs a 1290, okay, that tells me you got something wrong with either torque converter doesn't have the right stall speed, or your carburetor is too big, or the cam's not advanced in the right position. Something is holding the vehicle back, and you're going to have to keep playing with it till you figure out what it is.
It can also be like you spun the tires, or the suspension's not set up correctly.
And it can tell you if the suspension's not right. You know, my car, I had a 81 Grand Prix, and we were making 727 horsepower, which is a lot of power with a factory suspension on a little 10-inch wide tire. It was a slick, but it was a 10-inch wide tire, and I wasted so much energy in my suspension that we were running around 136 to 138 miles per hour, which would have equated to somewhere in the 980 range, and I was only running 1020s, but it was all eaten up in suspension. I had the right converter, I didn't have the suspension tuned properly because I had a factory suspension under the car. So this will tell you that you got a problem. and it don't lie. This is accurate. So if you do this and your car is way off the mark, then you got to start dialing it in, figure out what's going on.
And Dave just said that's pretty dang close. His car on last track day ran a 1241 at 106 mile an hour.
Okay, so there you go. So
yep, one more mile an hour.
Take your calculator. Let's do that real quick. That's a good example. You know what? Thank you, Dave, for piping in on that.
And also, Bill says hi.
Hey, Bill.
So we got 1320
divided by 104
divided by 106 equals a 1245.
And what do you
and 1241.
There you go.
Yep.
So yep. And I know Dave's been working with a suspension, so that's really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the aftermarket control arms on it and shocks and everything, so he's been tuning that suspension on that car. So there's a good example. Thank you, Dave. All right, so that's one formula I want to share with you. Now I want to give you the 1/8 mile conversion. This is real easy. So for the 1/8 mile conversion to a 1/4 mile, all you're going to do is you're going to take your 1/8 mile time. And in this example, I use 610 because one of my customers, Chuck Degg, who's got a Nova that I built a small block for, runs. And so I know exactly what his car runs in a 1/4 and what it runs in the 1/8. And you take that times 1.58, and that equals the 1/4 mile ET. And Chuck's car runs from 1/8 mile to 1/4 mile. So Chuck's car runs a 963 in the 1/4 mile. So I know that is 100% accurate. So I wanted to share with you guys this because you know what? If you don't know what the car's potential is, then you don't know where to look. Now if your car's running 110 mile an hour and it's only running a 1257, then you got a problem. But if you're running 105 mile an hour and it's running 1257, then you're dead nuts on. You're not going to get any more out of it. It isn't going to get any better. It's just not going to get better. Yep. You have to make more horsepower. So I hope those formulas help you guys. Which camera are we on now? Are we on this one still?
On that one.
Okay. But yeah, so that I learned that a long time ago, and it's helped me a tremendous amount. So because you know what, if the car's not making any more power and it's only going to run what it's going to run, then you're beating a dead horse changing torque converter, or rear end gear, or carburetor. It is what it is. You need to start looking for horsepower at that point.
Yep. Well, and I mean, I think it's good to know because, like, if you are at a Quaker City, we'll use it for an example, which is a track local to us, and you run close to what your time's supposed to be, and say we go to Dragway 42, which is another local track, and you run, 0.3 slower, now you know, okay, the track's not hooking, or something is potentially...
Provided your mile per hour stays the same.
Right.
So, because Quaker City, and Dave will pipe in maybe on this and let you know, so will Bill, Quaker City is 0.17 seconds slower than if you go to Dragway 42 or Norwalk. And the reason is because that track, I don't know if it's altitude or if it's the track looks like it actually goes uphill. So it's a good possibility it runs uphill at the end, and that's going to slow the car down a little bit. So if you go to Quaker City and run a 1250, I'm gonna make it easy, a 1267, you're going to go to Norwalk and you're going to run a 1250 because that track, that's how much slower that track is. As a matter of fact, when NHRA had their event there, they had to factor that in as part of the calculation. The cars, I think back then, a 990 car was like they had it at a 1004 or 1007. So, because the track was that much slower.
Well, probably because the wind's coming at you, and
no, it doesn't have anything to do with wind there.
And
but wind does
you're
factor,
going uphill,
but that isn't the factor.
And it's Quaker City.
Yeah, I think that track. If you look at that track, if you're sitting on the starting line, it looks like that track goes uphill.
And that track, they actually made a lot of improvements to that track, like the surface of the track.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably not the best it can be, but I know they redid it a lot a couple years back.
Yeah, they put some money into it, and there's a long story involved with that. But yeah, there's.
It was way overdue.
Yeah, and I haven't raced there for a while, so yeah, I did too. I took that customer of mine, Tina, and George's 78 Trans Am down, and it felt actually pretty smooth.
Dave said he ran a 1235 at 108 at Norwalk and 1241 at 106 at Quaker. So there's your difference right there.
So what was it? I'm sorry.
1235 at 108 at Norwalk.
Okay.
And then a 1241 and 106 at Quaker.
Okay, so that's only 6 tenths. But how much was the mile an hour difference?
2.
2. Yeah, which is about what it should be. And it could have been a traction issue or a little bit something different there, launch RPM or whatever. It affected the ET not quite as much. So, and that's another thing too. That formula helped you dial in the driver. If you're not bringing the car up against a converter right, or you're not shifting right, sometimes you miss your shift point by 200 RPM. It'll slow the car down a half a tenth. So you got to hit your shift points. And I don't know if you guys have felt this or not, but I can feel the car when it starts to nose over, when it starts to quit making power. And if you feel that, you didn't shift soon enough. You should never feel that. If that car feels like it's nosing over, then you need to shift sooner because you're not shifting at the right point.
See, I never could feel that.
I can believe it or not, I can feel a tenth of a second on the street. I've always been able to. I don't know why. I just have that ability, but a lot of people cannot. But you should be able to tell. I can listen to a car going down the track, and I can tell you whether you're overshifted or not. I can tell you if the timing's too high or not. And that's how much I've listened to all this stuff and driven so many cars. I know what it sounds like. I know what's going on. And I did that for a customer of mine. I was listening to him go down the track at Norwalk, and the car was running 1120s, and I said, you know what, you're over revving your engine. He goes, you think so? I says, yeah, you're way over revving the engine. And I think he was shifting at 6,600, and he thought because he had an Edelbrock head, that's what he needed to shift it at. I said, no, dude. I said, shift that thing around 6,200 RPM. As soon as he did, the car went at 1080. Nothing else. All he did was reduce his shift RPM. That's all he did. And it sounded way better going down the track.
And Dave said Norwalk had hot, humid air, which Pontiac Nationals it was wicked humid and wicked hot.
Yep.
And Quaker was cool and crisp air. So.
Yeah, so that makes you make about a tenth of a second difference if your jetting's quite close. So,
yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, that a lot of people don't realize either. Humidity alone.
Well, if you got a car that picks up a lot when it cools off, you're too rich. So you need to back your jet size down a little bit. If that car runs in the heat runs a 1050, and in the cool air it goes like a 1042, you're too rich. Or in some cases it's even more than that. I've seen guys pick up 210s. They're way rich, and you can actually hear it too whenever you're running the car. So that's another indicator. So another thing that you can tell too, way you can tell if you're too rich or not, don't take a brand or a icy cold engine and go out and jump on it. Get a little bit of engine temp in it. Get it up to where the gauge is just starting to move on your temperature gauge. So it might be right around 100 degrees. And then go out and jump on it. And if that thing ignites the tires and takes off or does whatever it's supposed to do, then you're too rich. But if it pops through the carburetor, you're just about right on.
Well, I was just right on my truck then.
Yep.
Because that thing would not get out of the way, wouldn't move until it got up to.
Yeah. Now, if it takes you clear up to operating temperature to get it to run right, then you're too lean. So the engine's telling you, it's talking to you. You gotta listen.
Now, what would you consider operating temperature? Because like a cool day like today, it's what 60 something degrees outside right now, and my truck would not go above 150.
Perfect. You want it to run right around 150, 160.
But if I hammer on it, it would do that.
It would do what?
It would spit and sputter. And
you were too lean. Yep. You need to richen it up a little bit.
And Ed's Machine is with us. He says hello and hi, Don and Son.
Hello there.
So awesome. Glad you can join us. So, what's this thing?
That's a cylinder head I picked up a little while ago with a car I bought, and actually we're building a 455 for that stroker. Actually, a 400 stroker 461. So that's. But the guy polished those heads, and man, they're beautiful. They're Edelbrock heads, but he polished all the letters and numbers off of them and made them pretty. I wouldn't spend that much time on it. He spent a lot of time doing that.
They're pretty light too.
Yeah,
a lot lighter than I thought.
Typical Edelbrock. They weigh right around. It's fully loaded. They weigh right around 32 to 36 pounds. Depends on how much you poured them, or mill off of them for the deck.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that was an Edelbrock head though.
Yep.
Because I mean he polished the crap out of it.
Yeah, it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yep.
That engine might be for sale if you know anybody interested. That customer's decided that he wants to build a Ram Air 5 deal and use an aftermarket block, so he wants me to sell that combination for him. But yeah, so but we can, what do you guys want to talk about? What are you interested in tonight? I know DJ, you want to talk about fuel, but I'm not really prepared for that. That's a little bit too in depth for how important that is. I need to get with a BP guy and get the right data and get that done accurately.
Yeah, and I think if we can do a video on that alone, just to make people understand too, like fuel matters big time.
Yeah. Tell us about you guys' combos.
Yeah.
What are you guys running? You know what do you got going on? Maybe I can help you get the car to run a little quicker.
Yeah, like I know Dave's the Le Mans, or is it a GTO?
Dave's got Le Mans. Yep, he's got a beautiful 72
yep.
Le Mans.
Yep. And he's been going to the track faithfully every Wednesday for this whole summer, basically.
Oh yeah.
And playing around with his car, and
he's got running good.
Yeah.
I mean, running mid-12s, it's a street car.
Yep.
And I don't know if he drives it there or not, but it's a good running car.
Yeah.
And Bill, he's working with his Fairlane. It's a race car, but he's got, I think, that thing capable of running somewhere in the low 10s, maybe 10 flat.
Yeah. So, but as you can tell, we got some more pictures in the background just to let everyone know. And, we're still missing a bunch of you guys on here. So
Yep, some of you guys sent some pictures. We need to get some more though.
It DCI Motorsports. I can't remember your address.
The address here is 2477 State Route 44, Atwater, Ohio 44201.
So if you are not local and you can't make the drive, send it to us if you want.
And as you guys can tell, I'm not just a Pontiac guy. I mean, we got some Mopars here.
Yep.
We got a Chevy here. We got a Ford here. But those are all Pontiacs.
Yeah, these are all Pontiacs. But yeah, I didn't even plan that. That just coincidentally happened that way. But yeah.
And I haven't got the picture hung up yet, but we got a, let's see here. I got a couple of stock cars that we built cylinder heads for. This guy's a dirt track guy. This guy's an asphalt guy. He runs a Barberton. This guy runs out Oroville is what I call it, but I think it's called William County.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. There's a couple of cars.
So get us some pictures, man. We want to put them on the wall over here.
Yep, absolutely. I want to fill this wall up.
Yep.
Growing up, I wasn't allowed to put any holes in my walls in my bedroom because of my dad. So I want to fill this whole wall up with holes.
Yeah, well, you got to see the holes you want to put in the wall. One of them I made him fix.
Yep.
So, but yeah, let's keep that wall growing.
Absolutely. Yep, here we go. SB1320. He said, if you weren't a Pontiac guy, what would your next favorite OEM be?
If I was not a Pontiac guy, if I wasn't a Pontiac guy, probably a Mazda.
Mazda?
Yep. I want to play with one of them rotary engines in the worst way.
Oh, well, all right. I guess some rotary engine those are kind of cool.
That thing is bizarre. No connecting rods, no pistons, so I can spin that son of a gun to 40,000 RPM if I wanted to. So
and go ahead.
But yeah, that's what I mean. I want something I want to build a Pontiac engine that we're spinning 12,000 RPM. I don't know anybody's done that ever. So I would love to build a Pontiac engine we can spin to 12,000. We got the Ram Air 5 head. It's capable with the right cubic inch engine. Now I just got to get a budget.
And then Dave says Kaufman heads, cast iron intake, Ram Air 3 exhaust manifolds, quadrajet, 3000 stall, 331 rear gear, 9-inch, 3-inch full exhaust. And that's what he runs.
That's your combo? That's a good combo.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to look at your combination and try to figure out how to get a little more power out of that, I would probably take a look at the cylinder head. It's probably needs a little bit of improvement. And then I would make sure and port match the intake manifold to the cylinder heads because it might be stock. I don't know what you've got going on. And then the exhaust manifolds. I have a couple customers running 1160s, 1170s with 6X heads and factory cast iron intake and exhaust manifolds. So the potential's there. You can go fast with those parts.
That's what I was going to say. He says 1240 is as good as it gets. So no, the answer is no.
No, you can go mid 11s with that combo.
And D just said, why do you stick to drag racing? Why not circuit or dirt track racing?
Too expensive. You're beating up. Not only are you beating up your engine, you're beating up the car too. Those guys, if you talk to a circle track guy, man, they are working on their car every day during the week and to go out and beat it up again on the weekend. And I'm not into that.
And then Bill, his combo is a 427 Ford, 428 SCJ heads that Don worked on over 1050 carb.
Yeah, so Bill's combination is a cool combo. He's got factory iron heads on that car, and the potential of Bill's car, he hasn't reached the potential yet. I don't know what his mile an hour is. Maybe he can share that with us, and we can do a quick calculation and see what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Bill, what's your best time?
Best ET or mile an hour?
Well, best
time.
mile an hour, yeah.
So that's another thing I want to tell you guys too. Mile per hour is way more important than ET, and the reason that is
Says you.
No, because if you don't have any mile an hour, you're not making horsepower.
I don't give a damn about mile an hour. I want to go fast.
You can go fast, but you got to have horsepower.
Oh.
So you got to have the horsepower. If you don't have horsepower, you're not going to run fast or quick. And so that's the I don't. Whenever somebody comes to me and says, you know what, my car's running a 1050. What can you do? I said, tell me your mile an hour. I want to see what your mile an hour is, because I need to know the potential. If you're running 1050s at 135 mile an hour, then I got a lot of room. I can make your car faster. But if you're running 1050s at what would that be in a quarter mile? I don't even know. It's 100 and we'll say 128 mile an hour or whatever it is. 127 mile an hour is what I think it works out to. And then you're already maxed out. There ain't nothing I can do for you unless we want to start changing things. We got to start doing cylinder head work, or changing header tube size, or changing intake manifold or something. You know, we got to find more horsepower because you're already maxed out. But if your mile an hour is way off from your ET, then I can work with it.
So Bill's running 126 mile an hour.
All right. So that's.
Or maybe he's answering a question, but I think it's 126 mile an hour.
Okay.
So 126 mile an hour, he should be running 1047.
1047. Okay. And I think Bill's pretty close to that.
But does he have a stock suspension?
No.
Okay.
Nope. He's got an old super stock car.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
It's a really cool. Well, look at it. It's a cool
car.
Yeah,
but I mean, shoot. Nowadays, they look like that. I mean,
yeah, that's an old super stock car. It's got a pretty good suspension under it. So he should be able to run 1040s with that mile an hour if that's what he's got for a mile an hour. And it could be too. I know Bill's short shifting a little bit right now. I think that he's shifting somewhere around 6,000. He could maybe pick up, believe it or not, 500 RPM can be 50 horsepower. That's huge. So, a good example of that, either direction, it doesn't matter. It can go if you're over revving it or if you're under revving it. It can be 50 horsepower. And a good example of that is that guy I was telling you about, that customer of mine that was running 1120s and went 1080s. That's a 40 horsepower difference by doing nothing more than changing the shift RPM. And he was over revving it. And he was over revving it by 400 RPM.
And Ed's Machine said the ET guys get shut down by a car that runs the same ET but fast MPH.
That's right, because mile per hour is a true indicator of horsepower, so not your ET.
And he also asked cylinder heads for mile per hour. You put cylinder heads for mile per hour. Cylinder heads for MPH.
I'm not really sure I'm following on that. Does it mean that the cylinder head is important for mile per hour, or what does that mean? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Maybe he's asking what kind of head would be good for a mile per hour.
I don't know. Maybe he can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the cylinder head is where all the horsepower is at. No matter what anybody tells you, if you don't have a good cylinder head, you're not going to make horsepower. So the cylinder head is the choke, and then you got to start complementing it with all the other components: the intake manifold, the carburetor, the headers, the torque converter, all that stuff. After you get the head where you need it to be, then you can start tuning that combination. And so the choke point is the cylinder head.
Bill says he's been having problems with traction, and so
yep.
We might have to change tires or
you might need a new set of slicks. I don't know when he had to replace the slicks on that car. But.
Yep. Oh yeah, you have to have a good flowing cylinder head to make good mile per hour.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Here's my question though. So, with bolt-on stuff, so like my Silverado, yeah, I got a 2019 Chevy Silverado 5.3 liter, and I put a cold air intake on it. And I don't know what it made. And you're not going to tell horsepower wise or anything like that. But K&N swears up and down that you pick up 5 horsepower by throwing that on there.
Well, you gotta remember it's all snake oil. So we actually dyno tested. I've been in a couple Engine Master challenges, and we've actually dyno tested with K&N air filters, Excel Blue filters, Wix paper filter, Fram paper filters, and believe this or not, a paper filter makes the most horsepower. The all those smoke and mirrors with the oil filters and cotton and all that's all bullshit. They don't make any more power. And as a matter of fact, I had a customer that I tuned his carburetors with paper filters. It was a Nova with dual quads on it, a tunnel ram big block Chevy car. And he went and bought right after I tuned the car. He went to Summit Racing and bought velocity stacks with the oil cotton filters on the velocity stacks. He come back MFing me because the car run like shit, and it did. It ran like shit, and I'm thinking, how this is. I learned the lesson that day. So I told him, I said, bring the car back. Let me look at it, see what's going on. It didn't run like that before. We must have a piece of dirt got stuck in a jet. Maybe a metering block got something stuck in. I don't know. Something happened that I'm not aware of, but it didn't run like that whenever you picked it up. So bring the car back, leave it with me. I spent 2 days trying to get that car to run right to find out that it was the lousy filters he put on that engine. And how I found it was purely by accident. I didn't put the filters back on when I took it for a test drive. The thing was a monster. It blew the tires off, ran exactly like it's supposed to. I put the filters back on. It would not even turn the tires over. That's how bad it was. It was amazing.
Bill says he's breaking traction in second gear. That's a good problem to have.
Well, if you're breaking traction in second gear, that means your tires are either wore out or your suspension's unloading, and that's not good. So you got to figure out why. It could be a shock adjustment, or maybe the shocks are wore out. But something's going on there. It shouldn't do that. You know, that tells me that the tire's not got the proper amount of weight on it, or it's dry and it's not hooking anymore.
Yeah.
Or it could be the time of year too. My car used to do that this time of year. We get into this late season and the track's cool and it gets a little condensation on it. Yeah, it won't hook.
Dave wants to know what casting number 1396 6X-4 or 6X-8 best option for a 400 block in a Le Mans 2.0.
I know he's building a second version. That it all depends on what compression you want. You know, if you're wanting to run pump gas, then 6X is a really good casting. You can't beat that head. Those are probably, you know, everybody raves about the 670 cylinder heads, but honestly, the 6X head flows better than the 670 head, and we use that head a lot. Yeah. So. And then it responds really well to port work. And I like the 6X head because they got a small exhaust valve. And most Pontiac heads don't have enough valve seat underneath the valve. But when you do a 6X head with a small exhaust valve and you put a 177 exhaust valve in it, I can make that seat exactly like I want it for that head. So I love the 6X head.
There you go, 6X. Now, what's the difference between 6X4 and a 6X8? Just compression?
Yeah, compression. So you want the 4. You want a 6X-4. And what he's talking about, for the guys that don't know, there's a little pad on the edge of the head right here. And what happened, or how Pontiac identified the different combustion chambers, they stamped a 4, 6, or 8 in this pad. And that tells you what the combustion chamber size was.
SB1320 said, what happened to Barry Grant? That stuff used to be everywhere. Now you never hear of it. Bugs flew my ear.
Yeah, we got a really bad fly problem, but because we're out in a farm out here, and we're out in farm country, and across the street there's a big cornfield over there, and it's like a breeding ground for flies. And this time of year they get terrible.
Well, they're coming in where it's warm.
Yeah, it's bad. So, but and we're fighting those right now. That's why we're going like this all the time.
Yep.
So sorry about that.
Yeah.
But and I'm itching because it's making me itchy. But anyways, the what SB2 asked me? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Oh, he just said what happened to the Barry Grant stuff.
Yeah, Barry Grant. Barry Grant. He's actually a very smart guy, and he had some neat products, and he had some awesome products, awesome ideas. Removable sleeves in his carburetors. He came up with tri-power setups for different, like Chevys and Pontiacs. He had just really good ideas. Problem was, is he did not have good engineers, and so he was having a lot of issues with off-idle stumble and running too rich. So what it all boiled down to was metering block design, and his metering block was not designed properly, and his air bleeds and everything inside the car, and emulsion tubes and everything in the carburetors was not designed properly, and so the carburetors sucked. I mean, they're beautiful. The idea was spot on, but it didn't work. So Summit Racing actually tried to work with Barry Grant on that deal, and I don't know if it was arrogance or ego, or I don't know what the whole story is because it's not my business. But he didn't try to fix the problem, or maybe he did try to fix the problem. He didn't have the right people, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get the problem resolved, and they went out of business. So if you can't provide a product that works, then people are going to punish you, and they're not going to buy from you. And that's what happened. I think that if he would have got a guy that really knew what was going on with the air metering, he could have probably fixed that issue, and he'd still be in business. And I love his ideas. I love the concept of changing the sleeves in the carburetor. I love the tri-power setups that he made with Holly carburetors for Chevys and Pontiacs. Well, actually not Holly, but Barry Grant carburetor 2 barrels, and they're beautiful. His carburetors look like works of art. I mean, he redesigned the fuel bowls on them, and he polished the bodies. I mean, he was way ahead of Quick Fuel and all them guys. I mean, he had I think he had an awesome product. It just didn't function well because it was not designed properly.
I thought he made wheels and built accessories too.
I don't know if he ever made wheels. You're thinking of that guy that passed away that had the hot rod.
Oh, Boyd Connington.
Boyd Connington.
Yeah, okay. Bill said that he set his shocks today, or set shocks today, and Ed is supper time, so he's going to go eat. So thanks for hanging with us, Ed, and enjoy your dinner. But I thought Barry Grant made more than just carburetors, though. I didn't know.
Well, they made intakes too. But,
okay.
Yeah, but they were an induction specialist.
Whatever happened to Offenhauser? They're not in business anymore, right?
No, they're still around.
Oh, are they?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Why is all the intakes that you see they're ancient old?
I don't know, but I think they're still around.
Huh.
Yeah, everybody goes to Edelbrock. I mean, Edelbrock's like the go-to. Wien used to be a really popular Wien. I don't know how you say that, but back in the 60s and 70s, everybody wanted one of their intakes. But Edelbrock came on the scene, and they kind of stole the majority of the business. And basically, all Edelbrock did was they just copied a factory design and maybe improved it a little bit, but mostly just made it out of aluminum. Like that head right there. That's nothing more than a Ram Air 4 head. They didn't make the round exhaust port on it, but they copied a Ram Air 4 design basically, and made it in aluminum.
SB1320 asked, "Do I ask good questions?"
Yes, you do.
He does. He does actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he does.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very happy that he does.
Yep. And that's what we want: more interaction, more people asking questions.
Absolutely. The more people that ask, you know.
So I got a question to ask: how many of you guys are passing the word? We got to get this audience bigger.
Yes.
Oh, you know, another thing too. What do you guys think about if we take a live stream on our DCI 1111 channel instead of on our podcast? You think that's a good idea, bad idea? What would you recommend? We're trying to get this, get this thing so we get the view hours up.
Yep. Yeah, I've been sharing the videos to our main page, because obviously we have 1,000 people on there, and I think as of right now we have 44 subscribers on this channel. So
that's good.
You know,
that's really good.
It's great. I mean, but we need to get the watch hours on the other channel, but we also need to build this channel up. I mean,
yeah, yep. This channel's kind of it was kind of a second thought. I wanted to do live podcast, and that's why we started doing this channel. I just thought it would be a good idea to kind of bench race with you guys and let you guys pick my brain a little bit, and we'd have fun.
Yep.
During the day, you guys call or whatever. I don't have time. I really don't. We're so busy here at the shop, and like today, I went over to Pittsburgh, south of Pittsburgh today, to a foundry because I'm going to make 2 new cylinder heads. And so I was gone all day. I mean, I'm busy. I got a lot going on. Plus, trying to get back here and get work done. I get back in my emails. I've got probably 30 emails I got to answer. And then Brandon's got stuff he's got me to have to look at. And then I got, I just got a lot going on. So it's really hard for me to talk with you guys on the phone during the day, or if you stop in here. I keep my front door locked. I do. And the reason is because I don't have time. I really don't. I know that everybody says they're busy, but I'm legitimately busy. You see the amount of work that we crank out of this shop, and it's pretty much just me and Brandon and a part-time guy. So we're busy.
Mr. Poncho 467, he says, awesome direction to get information about particular combinations. I'm definitely looking forward for this.
Yep, well, we're doing that. We're going to start at 13 seconds, and we're going to work it down to 8 seconds.
Yep, and that's going to be on DCI Motorsports 1111. And if if you guys don't like
do the podcast thing.
Well,
what we'll do is I'll outline that on.
I was going to say we can recap and go over the highlights.
Yeah. So we'll post that on our 1111, and then we'll break it down on our podcast.
Right. And then Bill says he tells people every day. And DJ says good. And then he's busting your chops saying you sound so busy. And then SB1320 says it doesn't matter to me. I got the notification you were live and I tuned in. I was worried I wouldn't be back on the ground to catch the live stream. Well, we're glad you made it. So,
yep.
I mean, obviously it's working. The notifications are, so that's good.
Right.
Because sometimes they don't work.
Right.
So, but no, I mean, we want to provide you guys with the content that you guys want to watch. So if we have to get rid of this one and kind of make it combined in with the main one, then that's what we'll do. But if you guys don't care that it's 2 separate channels, I mean, we'll keep it separate and we'll just use this channel for a highlight and then just bench racing and going over your guys' combinations.
I kind of feel a little bit bad and guilty because I don't really plan anything for these evenings, and so we're not really prepared to give you any kind of technical advice. I mean, I try. I shared with you the connecting rod thing tonight, how to identify those, and a couple of formulas for determining whether your car's running at its optimum or not, or if you want to convert it from an 1/8 mile, a 1/4 mile, or whatever. But I feel like I'm lacking a little bit, and I don't want you guys to get bored and disappointed.
No, this channel that we're on right now is mainly for you guys to tell us what you have, and maybe you're having problems with rebuilding a carburetor or something like that, and we can try to help you. Like my dad said, he doesn't get a chance to talk to everybody on the phone when they call, and so if you're just itching to get a hold of him, just try to hold yourself until Wednesday, because I tie his ass down here and make him do it for at least an hour every night.
And I enjoy doing this, but it is hard for me because I got a lot going on. Like I said, I just got back from Pittsburgh. It's south of Pittsburgh. It was about almost a 3 hour ride one way, so it's 6 hours ride time. And then we spent probably 4 hours there with the guys at the foundry. So I left early this morning. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I go to the gym at 5, and then I hit the road. So it was a long day for me.
I just sent the main channel onto the chat because Dave didn't. I don't think he didn't know, or he's just not understanding us completely when we keep saying DCI Motorsports 1111.
Okay.
So he asked, "What is it?" He goes, "What did I miss?" So that DCI.
Another thing we need to learn how to do too is we need to learn how to put links in here so that we can link to the, because like I share a lot of shorts, and and there's some valuable information there that you guys could use. We're going to start showing. One of the videos we're going to do, and my nephew Luke's going to help me with this. Is we're going to do a plastic gauge versus a dial bore gauge on measuring bearing clearance. Everybody says, "Well, you can use plastic gauge." You can do that. You can, and you know what? For a regular street engine, that's probably 100% okay. But if you're going to build any kind of horsepower, you better know what your bearing clearance is exactly, not a guesstimate. And that's what a plastic gauge does. It gives you an idea, but it don't give you an exact number. These bugs are driving me nuts.
Right. So I did. So if you click on the link, that'll take you to the YouTube page on our chat, and so I can do that with some of the shorts. I think. Try and get this other camera to work real quick. But anyways,
which other camera is that?
The main one.
Oh, okay.
1320 SB 1320 said, "What do you think about a live stream or surfacing a head or honing a block?" We actually talked about live streaming some dyno,
Yeah,
and maybe we'll do some surfacing of stuff.
We could it's kind of boring. It takes a long time to do, but we could do that. We could do a short video on that. We could do some valve jobs when we do it on the valve machine. I've been doing that in shorts, but we can actually do about a live video. But I think that you guys would have more fun and be more entertained if we do a dyno session, chassis dyno session, and then we make a timing change or we make a jet change, and you guys can actually see the difference in horsepower from that, or an RPM change. You know what I mean? We can change the RPM. Although in a chassis dyno, it's kind of weird. You can't really do that because it's not like going down the racetrack. It's you hit the throttle at a predetermined start, and then you shut it off at a predetermined high RPM level too. So we usually pull most of our stuff from like 3,000 RPM to, depending on the cylinder head. If it's a factory head, we're going to pull it to 5,500. But if it's a Ram Air 5 head, we'll pull it to 8,000. What are you looking for on there?
Oh, the camera quit working because I accidentally bumped it.
No. So are they watching us now or no?
Yeah, I got it on that camera.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's being dumb. But SB 1320 says, "There you go. The plastic gauge versus bore gauge is a good idea." So I think if you did a short with that to kind of tease the video, and then we'll do a video on that and go over a few other things along with why are you using those gauges and so on and so forth. And we're still going to do technical stuff on our main page, but we want to start getting into more of the fun stuff too. Not all just technical. It's going to be technical, but it's going to be like technical on the dyno.
I got to share with you guys. So my son came up with the harebrained idea that we're going to take remote control cars and we're going to blow them up.
Yeah.
So is that something you guys want to see? If that's what you want to see, we'll do that. I think that's crazy. How come that camera won't come back online?
I don't know. I'm trying.
Is it unplugged?
No.
Okay.
Did
it die?
No, it's plugged in.
Okay.
It's just Being dumb.
Yeah, technical stuff really frustrates me.
But yeah, so there's a couple of ideas what we got in store. We are going to get back into making videos. I think you got all your most well this weekend. We probably
we gotta get back on the Le Mans build.
Yes.
So I'm gonna start beating my son to get him at the shop. He's got this idea that he's just gonna be a prima donna. And that ain't gonna work.
Oh,
he's gotta work.
Oh no, I am working.
No, you gotta work.
And
we gotta get the engine cleaned up. We gotta get a debird. We gotta get everything done. We can video all that.
And we are. But also, Dave says he enjoys the shorts, but not as much as the live broadcasts.
Good.
And DJ said live valve jobs. We can do valve jobs. I think we will probably do a 1,000 subscriber appreciation live on our main channel. Maybe this weekend or next week, early next week.
So is there a way for us to call out everybody that subscribed? Can we figure out or ask who subscribed? So I'd like to give a big shout out to all you guys. You know what? You're helping us build our channel, and that's what I appreciate that big time.
Does it work like at everyone like it does on the Facebook business page?
I don't know.
Like at everyone, and then automatically sends it to all of my followers and my live people on my business.
That would be awesome if it did, because I'd like to call everybody out and tell them thank you.
Well, that's what we'll do at the live. If they have the notifications on, they'll see it.
Okay. So yeah, if we can do that, let's look into that because I want to do that.
SB1320 said the optics are bad with blowing stuff up, even though it gets views. People overseas see us as wasteful Americans.
Amen.
And we are nothing more America than that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't get this stupid camera to come back up.
That's all right. So we're good.
Yep.
Well, you know what? We're probably gonna wrap it up tonight anyway. We're just about done. We didn't have a whole lot to go over, but I wanted to ask you guys questions, try to figure out what's going on, and you know, I know also that there's a lot of people that watch this channel that don't interact, and we need you guys to interact. I mean, I appreciate you watching. Don't get me wrong, but I want you to interact. Don't be afraid. Don't be bashful. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I tell my guys here this all the time. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So I don't care if you want to know, I don't know, what spark plug gap is, or what I don't even know what color we paint the engine. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And I want you guys to interact, and because I get you guys to call me during the week, and you'll say, hey, man, I watched the show, but I don't see you pop up on here or anything, so I don't know that you watched. And we obviously are getting viewers. We got 274 views, I think, last week, and but I don't know who they were because you're not interacting. So please interact.
Yeah, it doesn't tell us who gets on or anything like that. That's why we always tell you guys to please interact with us, even if it's just a hi and that's all you say. At least we know that you're with us.
I don't even care. I just want to say hello.
You know
what I mean? And give us a thumbs up or something. It doesn't matter. You don't have to type anything in. Just put a thumbs up. But I want to know who's interacting. But I really, really want to get everybody. I want everybody to start interacting and build a community. You know what? We're all in the same hobby. We're all into making cars go fast, and we want to build on that. And I want you guys to all meet each other. You know what I mean? If not at the racetrack, online. It doesn't matter. So we can introduce each other, and let's make this something really, really fun and something enjoyable that everybody wants to come every Wednesday night and hang out for an hour and do.
Yep. SB1320 said, but if you blow something up, giving it all the best effort and add a redemption arc, you're good.
Well, we got some ideas, and but I got and my buddy Chuck, who I built the small block for the Nova back here for, He's a wild man, so you know what? He might be interested in doing something crazy. We might put I don't know, Pontiac Rammer 5 engine in the dragster that I have, and he'll go out here on Dragway 44.
Yeah, Driveway 44.
Out here on 44 and do a big old burnout or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to be ready for the police to show up. But
Yeah, and make sure there's enough gas for Chuck to run away.
No, he's got to ditch it in the field and run.
But yeah, so we got some ideas in store. Right now it's kind of chaotic because we're running out of weather, and my dad has some improvements to make to the shop.
We just had to tear the back of the building off here. Yeah, because I'm in like a wind tunnel in where my shop's at. And a couple of years ago, it literally lifted the whole roof off of my building and laid it in my neighbor's yard. And one of my customers goes by and calls me and says, "Hey, did you know you're roofing in your neighbor's yard?" And I said, "No." So I had to come out here. It was rainy, cold, and the neighbor behind me helped me, and my brother helped me. And we had to literally pick the roof up, put it back on the building, and tarp it all up, and screw it back down to get it to the point where it wouldn't leak, and then I could get it fixed. But I had to rebuild all that section of the building. I did that 2 years ago. Now the back half of my building just got tore off because of the windstorm we just got here. And you know what? I might even have a picture of that on my phone here that I can show you guys. But it's just, I mean, I'm busy, man. I got a lot going on.
SB 1320 says, I gotta ask, how many RA5s do you expect to sell in 5 years?
There's a picture of the back of my building before I had to fix it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right.
Looks like a tornado went through.
Yeah. So I'm doing that on top of building engines. So what did he ask me?
He said, I gotta ask, how many RA5s do you expect to sell in 5 years?
That's a good question. That's a real specialty field or niche that I don't expect to sell a lot of those. You know what I mean? I told my CAD guy whenever he was helping me design that head, he asked me the same question. I said, dude, if I sell 20 sets of those a year, I'll be happy. I exceeded that. We're doing good. So I'm not unhappy with our sales.
So 100 sets?
In the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Probably. Yep.
So there you go, Sam. Something to look forward to. So, how, trying to think of how I can ask without giving away too much detail. How far do you want to go into your new heads that you're coming out with?
What do you mean?
How much do you want to divulge information about this already?
Well, I can't share a whole lot with you guys right now because I don't want to let my competitors know what I'm doing. But but you guys are gonna love this new cylinder head, and
it's going to be 2 versions.
The only thing I'm going to do a deep port and a round port, and the only thing I will tell you is it's going to flow around 350 CFM as cast. And it's going to be a direct bolt on for like an Edelbrock or a factory head. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. But it's going to be a sweet piece.
Yes. So
I've been working on this for 3 years. COVID slowed me way down on that project. That project should have been 2 years ago. It should have been done. But unfortunately, things just didn't go as planned. So.
And this cylinder head, I'm going to assume that you're going to probably take pre-orders again to get the numbers down for castings and stuff.
It all depends. You know what? This foundry I met with today, they are awesome, and they're actually going to work with me quite a bit, which I'm real pleased about. Obviously, because of what's going on in our economy and inflation and everything, the heads are going to have to sell for more than what I anticipated. Originally, I thought I was going to be able to maintain a price around $2,900 for a set of them. And that's loaded, complete, ready to go on the engine. But you know, it's probably going to be, I want to say several $100s more now because of the inflation that's going on right now. So, which sucks. But you know what? Everybody's going to have to deal with it. Everybody's going to do it. Edelbrock's going to have to raise their prices. You know, everybody will have to do it.
Yep. SB 1320 said, "Don't share anything, and anyone you share with signs an NDA."
Yep, agree.
And then Dave wants to know if it's going to be street friendly.
Absolutely, it's a street head.
So,
but we're gonna develop combinations that'll make 600 plus horsepower on pump units.
So I mean, I just wanted to get that out because like you're getting closer to it being a finished.
We are close.
First rendition of your castings and everything, and make sure everything's up to your standard.
Yep.
But I mean, I just want to start getting people excited for like pre-orders and stuff because like.
Well, we are getting real close. I mean, I got to meet with the foundry today. That was a big hurdle, and and then the other hurdle was getting all the drawings done, and I do believe that they're pretty much done. That was probably the biggest hurdle, honestly. And now the next hurdle is getting the tooling made, and the foundry turned me on to a really good company that's going to do that for me. I'm contacting them tomorrow, and sharing the files with them after I get an NDA signed. And then once we do that, according to the foundry, these guys move pretty quick, as opposed to the last guy that I had. But we're going to probably, realistically, maybe in a month, we'll have a real good idea how we're going to make the tooling. And then probably about 2 months after that, we'll have the tooling made. And so we'll say, I'd say 3 to 5 months, we should be able to have a cylinder head in hand that I can cut apart. We cut all of our first castings apart. And then after that, then what we're going to do is we're going to build a couple, and then we'll put them on the flow bench, see what they flow, max out the valve job on these things. And then once we get that done, we'll put them on an engine and get them in the car, and we'll put them on the chassis dyno and see what kind of power they make. So,
yep. Dave says, "I'm going to be building another engine for the 2.0 here in the future. Just saying, LOL."
Okay, Dave, you're on my list.
Well, I just want to start building up a little bit of excitement for this because we're getting closer now to.
Yeah, I got to give you a big shout out, David. You know what? I know you got a full-time gig going on with your business, but you're kicking ass on that Le Mans, dude. I mean, you're making us look like chumps. You're working on that thing on a Saturday afternoon, and you're already further ahead than I am.
Yeah.
So you're doing great.
Yeah.
And you're not a body guy. At least I don't think you are.
But I just want to start building up some hype for these heads. I think these heads are going to be a good thing. So.
Yeah, well, no, they're going to be great. These cylinder heads are going to be kick ass. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah. Any other questions? We'll give you a few seconds to answer, and if not, then we'll just let you guys go to bed or finish off your beer or whatever you're doing. And
yep, I gotta get to bed. I go to bed early now. I have to get in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock because I get up at 4, and that's early. I can survive on 6 hours sleep, but if I get any less than 6 hours, I'm grouchy.
Grouchy all the time.
Whatever.
So, yeah, we'll give you guys a few seconds here. We'll just ramble on about, we'll do our plugs now. So, DCI Motorsports 1111, main page, main channel, not page, channel. And then DCI Motorsports Unleashed. I don't know what the numbers are after that. There's a bunch of numbers. I just never say them because it's like 6 numbers long.
But just remember DCI.
But yeah, yep, exactly.
Yep.
And what else?
I think that's it. You know what? Please share.
Yep.
You know, that's
Yep.
all we ask. And
Please,
then,
please share.
and then write your questions down. So next week, whenever we're on, you guys can ask your questions and be prepared. But next week, I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. I mean, this week I didn't know what I was going to talk about. It's just kind of a casual thing. So
SB1320 says, great job, gents. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
And DJ says, because you're old. Well, whatever. You're talking about him, not me. And so, yep, with all that, thank you, everyone. And, oh, yeah, keep forgetting this camera don't work no more.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
All right, guys.